request everybody to stand up for the national anthem and the hymns.
Mga kababayan, ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas.
现在奏中正学院校歌。中正学院校友总会会歌。Be seated. May we request our beloved President of our Chiang Kai-shek Alumni Association, Mrs. Margarita Go, to give us the welcoming remark.
主讲人施太平先生，董事会副董事长尤福熙学长，各位董事，母校校长潘露丽博士及各位师长 ，Mr. Miguel Agaro of Field Equity， 校友总会各位副会长及各位 全体校友、学生和贵宾，大家早上好。今天是我们积极在母校中正堂举行以我们事业发展、增强现代化理财和财务管理方法和知识有关的专业财务商机讲座。中正校友总会非常荣幸的有机会与 Phil Equity 联合举办此场主题为 Making Money in the New Normal 新常态投资讲座。看来今天的校友和贵宾这么踊跃，就可以看出今天主讲人的吸引力和知名度。他就是鼎鼎大名的财务管理专家 Mr. Wilson C. Our guest speaker, according to his mentor, Mr. Washington C. is the heart and soul of Phil Equity Fund, a mutual fund that has successfully delivered an average compounding annual return of 20% to its shareholder, beating the PSE index in 17 out of 20 years in existence. Let me share with you my personal experience. A few months back, I was invited to attend a by-invite presentations of Phil Equity Market Outlook and book launch, led by a man dubbed as Warren Buffett of the Philippines. To my mind, this is an interesting. I get to hear how I can get an opportunity of lifetime, which happened to be the title of the book he authored. Needless to say, I was impressed. I took it upon myself to ensure that our association's member will have the same opportunity as what I have a few months back. Fast forward to today. On this beautiful morning, we are all privileged to have Phil Equity to share with us the expertise and in-depth knowledge of our economy and financial market as we usher in the new administration. 这是一场来之不易和无价精彩的讲座，请大家专心聆听，踊跃提问，谢谢大家。
现在由我们校友总会副会长施志雄先生来介绍来宾跟主讲人。
Our school board of trustees, headed by our vice chairman, Mr. Jose Averia, Mr. Robert K., Mr. Albert Lee, our school president, Ma'am Dory Pua, Federation of Filipino-Chinese Alumni Association President Lorraine Tan, and Vice President Gerald Chan, other distinguished guests, fellow alumni, student guests, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, everyone. In behalf of Chiang Kai-shek School Alumni Association, we would like to thank you all for coming here today. We have invited two guest speakers from Phil Equity Management Incorporated to share with us on their financial insights and market outlook on different investment opportunities available. Phil Equity Management Incorporated is an investment management company which was established in 1994 to invest in Philippine stocks and bonds. Phil Equity offers 5 mutual funds and has over 18 billion pesos in assets under management. Phil Equity serves over 30,000 shareholders, including financial institutions, educational trust funds, corporate clients, and individual investors. Since 1994, the flagship Phil Equity Fund is the Philippine Best Performing Equity Mutual Fund and has been awarded by the Philippine Investment Funds Association as the Best Performing Equity Fund in the 10-year category each year since 2006. Mr. Wilson C. has been the fund manager of PhilEquity since its inception in 1994. He was the chairman of the Philippine Stock Exchange from 1996 to 1998 and chairman of the Manila Stock Exchange from 1994 to 97. Mr. C is currently a director of the Philippine Stock Exchange and has over 41 years of experience in the stock market as a stockbroker. He writes a business column titled PhilEquity Corner every Monday on the business section of the Philippine Star. He is also the author of the book Opportunity of a Lifetime. Mr. C currently serves on the board of directors for numerous corporations, including Vantage Equities, E-Business Services, Leisure and Resort World Corporation, Pacific Online Systems Corporation, East West Banking Corporation, Excel Property Ventures, and Monte Oro Resources and Energy Incorporated. And also Miguel Agarao. He has been a financial analyst for Equity for over 5 years and a stockbroker for Wealth Securities, one of the top brokerage houses. He was an analyst for the hedge fund Molave Capital and served as a market risk officer for East West Banking Corporation. Mr. Agarao has more than 10 years of experience and covering Philippine stocks, global equities, and politics. Now, let's welcome them with a warm round of applause.
So now is the exciting moment everybody is waiting for. Our guests from PhilEquity, especially Mr. Wilson C. and Mr. Miguel Agarao, will give us pointers how to make more money because we need more donations. So let's welcome Mr. Wilson C. followed by Mr. Miguel Agarao.
Good morning. I hope you don't mind if I speak in English. Ito po ay buhang. Kasi ayaw kong na ng kwento. Totoo na akong. But I feel at home here. Since when I came in, I see your colors, blue and white. So those are my favorite colors. So I see your uniform also. I've been, if you look at my wife was telling me, look at my closet. One time he arranged it, and there was this one pile is all blue, another pile is white, and another pile is all the other colors. So you see that I have an affinity towards blue and white. Anyway, I'd like to thank the Chiang Kai-shek Alumni Association, headed by Margie Go. I'd like to thank the Board of Trustees of Chiang Kai-shek, headed by Sir Lim, and Chiang Kai-shek itself, Dr. Dory Pua, for inviting me to come over. I normally don't give presentations. Normally I have Miguel Agarao who does it for me. But since I can't refuse, and normally I just invest and do what I do best, which is manage money, but I couldn't refuse Archie. So I had to come here and say a few words. Okay. Now, as far as investing is concerned, I tell you something that I learned when I went to Omaha. I went to Warren Buffett's annual shareholders meeting. And he did emphasize, I mean, there are a lot of students here, no? And there are two things that I learned there which made me so very happy when I met Warren Buffett. One thing that he said is that it's very important for children to keep on reading and to keep on learning. The other thing that was very important, which when my daughter, Darlene is here, my daughter, approached Warren Buffett, and we said, she said, Mr. Buffett, you're the idol of my father. And he said, I have one advice for you. And he said that I have one advice, and this is you have to listen to your father. So that's made me happy already that it's not worth all the trip. No? So listen to the advice of your parents. Start studying, reading, and another thing, advice that I'd like to. This is my personal advice to my children, and I hope that the parents will seek the same advice. No? There are a lot of thoughts about giving money to children or telling how. There are some people who tell akong, ay kang waiki na kung what they're worth because they might just lose it, or you shouldn't tell them how much money they'll earn, how much they'll have, but you keep it to yourself. There's those school of thoughts. On my end, I know my children. I told my children that you know already that you'll inherit money. One thing that's very important to me is you have to learn how to invest. Because no matter how good you make money, it was only but you'll probably earn from your business doing other businesses. But even if you have a lot of money, you earn a lot. But if you don't know how to invest it, it's a very big chance you might lose it. So what I told my children is, okay, you know you learn to have money, but at the very least, learn how to invest, where to put your money, and where the money can be invested. Okay, so there's different kinds of investments. I think people know this, many of you know this. There's cash, okay? It's the most simple. Right now, you just keep cash, but put it in the bank. How much do you earn? 0.25, practically zero, right? It's the same thing as putting it under your mattress, earning nothing. And I don't know if you understand inflation. Inflation is about 4%, and if you so actually, you're losing money every year, every time you put your money in the bank. Now the other is time deposit, right? So how much do you earn? 1 month is 1.3, 3 months 1.5, 1.8. Is that enough? You're actually losing money also because of inflation, and so in this kind of environment, this is what we'll explain later, is that you're actually not earning enough to compensate for inflation, which because prices will go up every year. Inflation means that what the year today, probably your rice or your food is going to cost you 100 pesos. Next year is going to cost you 105 pesos. You're earning 1%. You're earning 1 peso or 1.5 pesos a year. So you're actually going to lose. No? So your money is losing. Your money is losing every year. The third is, I think you know this, US dollar. We write, I think some of you read our column, and we've lengthily written about stocks and currencies and the US dollar. And one of the things that because the US dollar fluctuates. No? We've seen it, we've written about this, we've seen it at 56 pesos before. Used to be, in the past, I also distinctly remember, I don't know if you're maybe the older people here, but you're young. Before, the mindset was always, because that was your bet, no? Because we always depreciate. Because peso. In 1970s, 1 peso, $1 is 2 pesos, 4 pesos. So the mindset kung that was a mindset until we reached 56. No? And we did write about it in our it was actually in the front page of the Star. No? We said that the peso has topped out. Has bottomed actually. The dollar is up against the peso. No? At 56, we said that was it because of the current account fiscal program of the country. No? So right now, it's a question. Maybe we can answer that during the open forum. If you have questions, I did say that we would answer that. That a US dollar at this point is also part of an investment. No? Okay? And we'll tell you where we feel the direction of the peso is. It is something that we study constantly. We do. It's a ongoing. Like last night, the U.S. dollar actually went lower against all currencies, and so by Monday you'll probably see the peso improving a bit. So aside from the U.S. dollar, you have other currencies. You can go to the euro, which I think there was a big problem now because of the exit of Britain from the euro. So you can invest in the dollar yen or even Singapore dollar. So these are the charts of the Japanese yen. You see how it has moved, no? From 260, 320 yen, went to 85, now went up to 125, it's now 102. So these are things that you can learn, you can actually, it's an investment field in itself, knowing how to invest in currencies. You can go through euro, yen, Indonesia, even our neighbors, no? Indonesian rupiah. So those are things that you have to learn. No? So aside from cash, time deposit, it's quite important you know about currencies. Bonds. We're talking about Philippine bonds. So these are long-term bonds or instruments that you can hold on for 5 years, 10 years, 25 years. So instead of putting it in cash, you learn to have some money for the long term in fixed income instruments. No? So a 10-year Philippine bond gives you 3.2%, and the US dollar bond is 1.5. We'll explain later, Miguel later will explain how bond yields are performing these days. If you had invested in bonds for the past few years, you probably had made money, but now at a price that is so low that we don't know whether if it does reverse, you probably lose money after investing in bonds. You might just be surprised at what you invested in 10 years, 25 years. You're earning 3% or 1.5% will actually cause you to lose money. Okay. Of course, no, most women here know about jewelry. But my wife, most of the sisters, my mom, they love jewelry, and it's a kind of investment. I don't invest in. My wife is here, Florence is here. Thank you for coming. But she does invest in jewelry. But in my case, I don't know much about jewelry. I don't invest in jewelry. I think I have better investment, but for women, they're happy. If they're happy, then it's good. What makes you happy as an investment should be good. So part of your money, put it in jewelry if you're happy doing it. I don't know whether the returns will be there. Diamonds have gone up consistently because it's actually managed. It's what's the name of the beer? Yes, the beer. Margie knows it. No? The beer controls it, and it's controlled, so the prices do appreciate. But it's something that's controlled. Okay. Of course, gold. Again, you have gold bars. Some people buy gold bars, gold coins. They buy and put it in, the bank. Or they have a vault, they buy gold bars, or they can buy gold in the commodities market, and you actually, like this year, if you know how to trade gold or silver, gold actually went up 30% this year, silver went up 50%, but then, if you ask me, what do I think of gold? I don't personally invest in gold. It can be part of your investment. Some people think you should have 1% or 2% of your portfolio in gold, but I am an equities person. I believe I will earn probably at least 10% in stocks when I'm not sure whether gold will go up. So if each individual will discuss this later during the conclusion. But again, gold is one of the investments you can think of. If there are some people who I don't personally do it because I believe in stocks, but there are people that probably make money. So maybe for to each his own, you can have part of your portfolio in gold. Of course, paintings, no? Ang Q-Pop, if you buy it, I mean, it's probably, it's staggering also how Philippine art has gone up this year. I own some of the, but you wait until they die, and they die, prices go up. But paintings is one thing that I know. I went to the house of, I don't know if it's an alumni, Bonifacio, is it an alumni of Chiang Kai-shek? But he has the most extensive collection of art, Philippine art, and it's staggering also, no? From probably a cost of 100,000, 200,000 goes up to 5 million, 10 million. But again, you have to have an eye for paintings, and you have to know which painters to buy. Real estate, of course. No? That's one of the investments that I'm sure most of you know about it, how land prices have gone up. Hopefully, with the peace and order improving, land prices will continue going up. It's something that is most of you know. Okay. And of course, you learn here. You're here to study. You have all different courses. Most of you here are businessmen. You have your own businesses. I admire entrepreneurs. They do. The country prospers because of entrepreneurship, and I'd like most of you to go into business, prosper, helps the country. So that's part of your investments, no? Your own business. But then, one other way, no? Rather than having a business, if you can't think of a business, is going into stocks. No? Think of it this way. No? If you go into buy a stock, no? I explained this to Margie. No? When you buy a stock, you're actually being a partner of the company. Think of it as a partnership. For example, Henry C. is your alumni, right? It's an alumni of Chiang Kai-shek. Tony Tan Kak Yong is an alumni of Chiang Kai-shek. Lucio Tan. So they have their companies listed. No? For Henry C. as Shumart, Lucio Tan as LTG. George T. is also an alumni. No? So Metrobank is listed. So instead of being an entrepreneur, putting up your business, actually you buy their stock. And you think of it that I'm now a partner of Jollibee. You admire, you go to SM, you go to a mall, you see all the people there that make, there's so many people buying, purchasing, you go to a Jollibee store, and you invest. One thing good about being an investor, the difference between buying a stock and being a partner of a listed company is they need to report to you. Everything that they do, if there's something significant, they have to report. Okay. The other thing is, you go into a partnership with a business. Okay, you have a partner. If you don't like your partner, it's not easy. It's going to be very difficult to break. If your partner, you're doing something that you don't, or you're different in your perception of doing something, you're stuck. You're stuck with being your partner because you cannot get out. But here, let's say Henry C. does something, or George T. You're distinguished alumni, so you're probably loyal to them. But if you don't approve of what they're doing, just sell. Just get out. It's easy. So that's what because the notion here is, the term of "puak-po-pyo." It's a totally different, probably, in the 60s, probably because the Philippines had only mining stocks and oil stocks. But you now have the primest, the bluest of the blue listed in the country. So before, it's oil prices and commodity prices, copper prices goes up and down. But now you have a Jollibee, you have your Gopong Ways, having listing there, and you know are part. Some people, I said this, no? Some people may not like NBC, some people may not like Gopong Way, but I said you don't have to like them, because if they're doing what is good for them and not good for you, then you should be on their side. Just invest with them. No need to like them. No need to. Unlike your business, normally you have to like your partner. You don't like your partner, you don't want to go business with them. Here, you don't necessarily have to like them. You want to be a partner with them. Now, going after stocks. Now, if you don't have the time to look at different stock investments, you don't have a research team. What Miguel is here is going to discuss later is part of my research. I have 6-7 research analysts, not doing anything, but studying different stocks. And you don't have the inclination to do it yourself, then you go to a mutual fund. A mutual fund is actually pooling all the investments of different individuals, putting it all together, and have a professional manage it for you. That's what, maybe for the young people here, the students here, so you differentiate buying a stock on your own, you do your own stock picking, or you let others do it for you. Actually, how Phil Equity started out was, maybe I'll give you a history of how Phil Equity started. Actually, it's my clients. No? I started out as a stockbroker, and it's my clients who asked me to manage part of their money. Okay, so there are different clients. I have probably five people that started asking me, what na kawa? Kaya manage ko, kaya invest. So these are my closest friends and relatives that I can't refuse. No? But it's becoming more and more tedious. No? It's because they're more, it became 10, became 20 people, became 30 people. So you want to manage. No? It's becoming more and more difficult. So what I did was actually put up a fund, which was in partnership with my friends. We're about 20 or 30 stockbrokers pulled up together, and they asked me to be the fund manager, and that's how Phil Equity started. So, I've given you all the different investment fields. These are the different categories where you can invest. And Miguel here will be here. He's the one usually doing the presentations. Just I'm doing this as a distinct or separate accommodation for the request of Ms. Margie. So to discuss. But Miguel here, who's a better presenter than I am, will discuss. Ipoyaw na namoya. Ipoyaw ko ilin. Tampo lang. Try your best to give some Chinese. He looks Chinese, but he's pure Filipino. But he's learning hard to learn Chinese because that's part of our requirement. But he'll discuss the different why you should be investing in stocks and equities or mutual funds rather than in the other investment fields. Miguel, thank you. I'll be back here for the conclusion. I'm here to Q&A.
Good morning, everyone. Ganesha Rosie Bostic. Wale Banban Online. Okay. So, thank you for inviting us to come here. But first off, I see half the audience are students. I want to apologize to the students. Baka pinilit na kayo. Sorry. Okay, I didn't know we'd have students in the audience, so I'll try to make it entertaining for you. I'll try. Okay, so we're in a very weird situation right now. which I will explain later. That's why the title of the presentation is Making Money in the New Normal, because certain things that are normal now aren't actually quite normal, as history will show. As Mr. C explained, the goal of investing is to make money, but how much money must you make? It must beat inflation. Now, inflation in some countries is low, but here in the Philippines, inflation long run is about 4%. So, make that your minimum benchmark. Now, keeping that in mind, you realize that not all investments will actually beat inflation. So, ask yourself whenever someone gives you a business idea, be it maybe as a kid selling candy to a manufacturer selling maybe millions of candy, ask yourself if the return on that investment can beat inflation. Because if not, you're better off putting your money somewhere else. Now, right now you're lucky. I mean, if you see gas prices, they're down nearly 50% from where they were 3 years ago. Such that your inflation is only 2%. 2% kaya na yan. But over time, you can expect this inflation rate to go up to 4%. And as Mr. C explained a while ago, if the deposit rate is 1%, you're losing as much as 3% per year. Okay, 3% per year. So in like 30 years or so, the value of your money would have been reduced to zero. Now, some people are afraid of investing money kasi baka mawala. Like maybe the money I invest might go to zero, I can't sleep. Now, Mr. C will discuss this later. Different types of people, different risk tolerance. But, you know, some people say, you know what, I'd rather have an investment that will guarantee me a return. Like every sure kikita. Now, in bonds after cash are supposed to be the safest of investments. Okay, let's ask the students. Baka nagzazone out. Students, does anyone know what a bond is? No? Legit? Okay. Think of it this way. Pinapautang niyo ba yung kaibigan niyo? Ay, dami nagyan. May interest? Okay, now, okay, for friendship's sake, okay lang yan. But you know, bonds are basically this. It's a loan. You lend your friend money, so he owes you money, right? The bond is the right to collect from that person. So let's say lady over here lends money to her friend beside her. You can sell the right to collect from your friend to the dude behind you. That's how bonds work. Right? So siya na yung collect sa friend mo. But he should pay. It's something like that. Okay, because we have like 10 slides and bonds. I don't want you guys to be lost. Clear? So it's like utang yun na pwede nyo ibenta sa ito in one sentence. However, as some of you may know, bonds are not risk-free. Minsan yung kaibigan nyo, tatakbuhan kayo, hindi ka nababayaran. Right? Has that happened to you? Okay, you gotta question your friendship if they don't pay. Medyo alanganin na yun. So there's risk. Mr. C also explained earlier that you can invest in different currencies, right? Now you can also buy bonds that are dollar, euro, yen. But what if, for example, the Japanese yen depreciates against the peso? You're not going to get the same amount of money back. So there's some risk there. This gets more complicated as you get older and if you do this for a living. But as it gets more complicated, theoretically you should make more money. That's how it's supposed to work. So, your harder subjects, in theory, should help you more in life later. Except calculus. Hindi ka gamitin niya. And did you have calculus? Wala. May calculus na ba kayo? Okay, you need that so you can get through college. But I guarantee you, unless you're launching a rocket into space, you're not going to use it. But you kind of do. Okay, now, if I'm going to lend out money anyway, I want to make sure I get paid. So maybe, if I lend money to a country, there is a 100% chance that they're going to pay me back, right? How can the entire country default, correct? Okay. this is where things get weird. Now, there are two new normals now. First off, interest rates are near zero. That's why I had to explain the concept of bonds, because I don't want half my audience to be lost. Kayo naiintindihan niyo. And number two, who would have thought Duterte would win the presidency? Come from behind yan, diba? Who here voted for Duterte? Oy, ma-under 18 kayo.
Okay, pwede.
Pwede. Kasi narinig lang natin. Anyway, so these are the two very different things happening right now. Yung students, huwag niyong tulugan, I'm making it fun. This mahaba yung presentation because I have to keep you guys on view. So I have to explain. So let's do the near zero interest rate. I don't normally have students, although I had a batch of interns mga students, but not this much. Now, Mr. C said the past 3 years have been good to people who have been lending money because they get paid and the value of the bond increases. But how many people here have time deposits? Practically everyone, right? Do you know, in some countries, you're paying the banks to keep your money. Baliktad hindi ko yung binabayaran, you're paying them to keep your money. How weird is that? And bonds. There are some countries where you lend them, ikaw pa magbabayad ng interest sa kanila. Can you imagine, pag pinuutang mo yung kaibigan mo, hihingan ka pa ng pera, ako na nga yung utang, bayaran mo pa. Weird, right? But that's exactly what's happening. That's why I said this year is very weird. I mean, in my entire career, I've never seen this happen yet. Mr. C has probably seen it a few times. But it's a very weird occurrence. Netherlands, 10-year bond yield. Okay, when you say 10-year, this means that you get paid after 10 years. Okay? The yield is how much you get paid per year. So like Mr. C showed you earlier, the 10-year Philippine peso bond for the Philippines is 3.2%. It means for every 100 pesos the Philippine government borrows from you, it pays you 3.2 pesos per year, and it pays you back 100 yung inutang niya initially after 10 years. So 10 years bago makuha yung pera mo. So that's why you have to charge interest. Yung kaibigan mo, baka isang linggo lang babayaran ka. So no need for interest. But this is the Netherlands. They keep your money for 10 years, and they give it back to you exactly as it is. Talo ka sa inflation. Okay? This is real. This is Switzerland. That's not a dash up there. That's a negative sign. You're paying Switzerland 0.5% to keep your money. Okay? So, kung pinautang mo siya ng 100, 10 years later, he's going to pay you back 95. Does that make sense? Diba? Ba't di mo lang, why don't you just leave your money at home or under your pillow? Diba? Anukohan na yan, diba? But you know, people are still buying. This chart you see here, this line chart, this is the chart of the yield. This is how much you get paid per year. And over time, it has been going down. Because so many people keep buying bonds. So, swerte yung mga nauna. But those now, does it make sense to buy bonds when every year you lose 0.5%? Like, who would buy that? Well, unless you're a charity. Yan, yung pag pinuutang niyo yung friend yun, hindi nagbayad, tawag sa inyo charity. Okay, then, I'll run out of jokes eventually. Ayaw niyo ba limited? Now, 10-year Japanese bonds, okay? Okay, now we know Japanese are kind of weird people, anime and manga and all that, but the yield there, negative 0.27%. 10-year German bonds, negative 0.04%. Let's not even talk about inflation, you're not even above zero. Okay? Now, at least the US is at 1.32%. But this chart, this goes back to 1960. The yield on the US bonds have been their lowest since in history. Now, if you're a Filipino, this certainly doesn't beat inflation. Now, this is the Philippine bond. 3.2%. Right now, you're beating inflation. Just hope that when inflation goes to 4%, this goes above 4%. Otherwise, you're probably not making money. But as you can see, the amount you get paid on your bonds has decreased over time. Now, this is a good thing in the sense that it reflects that people are sure kaya nang magbayad ng Pilipinas. Because in the 80s, when you had the Jobo bills, the interest rates were so high because we were teetering on default. When yields are this low, thanks to the investment grade rating, it's a vote of confidence in our country's ability to repay debt, to repay the money we borrow. So it's a good thing. Which leads us to the second news. Okay. Who here is happy that Duterte won the presidential election? So diehard. I think Duterte fans are like diehard people. Okay. Tama na hindi manalo si Trump. I mean, they compare this guy to Trump. At least this guy loves our country. Trump is like a bayabag na ego. But there. So, this is surprising because he won by a landslide against more politically entrenched candidates. Rojas, Binay, si Grace Poe, artista na nga yung tatay, namatay pa. Doble ka din artista na awa effect pa. He defeat those people. And he's the first, like, Erap won by a big margin also, but he won mostly in D&E. Duterte won across all economic classes, A, B, C, D, and E. That is unprecedented, and he has the highest approval rating ever of any president. 91% is also the first one to come from Mindanao and the first one to not come from an established dynasty. In fact, Duterte didn't even want to run for president. And some anecdotes say during the campaign, okay lang sa kanya matalo, then the same ano-ano. Di matalo, bahala. Right? And to be honest, he did say a lot of crazy things, right? Okay, but we voted for him. And all these crazies, plus all the good, we take that hand in hand. Okay? It's our presidency. So we have to support him. But at least he loves our country and he doesn't steal. We have that going for him. Okay. Now, Duterte is not the best communicator in the world. Like, did you who watch the SONA? I mean, di ba, may teleprompter na nga, di, akyat nyo, ayoko na yan, haba-haba. Ayoko sabihin yan, di ba? Pinapaulo yung teleprompter. Anyway, so, but fortunately, he has a very good economic team. And they're communicating properly. They're communicating properly Duterte's plan for the country, minus Duterte's admin. Okay. Now, it's led by Sonny Dominguez. So, this is a very old Cartugate, Pernia, and Jokno. So, it's a very old team, but they're all very good and experienced already. And one thing important about Sonny Dominguez is he listens to people. He called all the titans of businesses here, the different tycoons, and he talked to them. What do you want us to do? What do you want to hear? What do you think we need to do for this country to move forward? So they got the feedback from them. And from that, they formulated their economic agenda. So one is the relaxing of foreign ownership limit, except on land. They want to increase infrastructure spending. Previously, it's 3 to 4% of GDP. They want to bring it to 5 to 7%. Now, one observation Sonny Dominguez made was, I looked at all the PPP projects. Students, are you familiar with PPP? Legit? PowerPoint? They should give that to us a homework. Okay, that's what's moving our country forward. PPP is public-private partnership. So it's big projects where government will fund part or provide the land or something like that. Then the private sector, the businessmen will fund the rest. But at least sumasagot na sabi PowerPoint. Anyway, at least the audience is participating. Better than sleep. Anyway, so they want to bring it to 5 to 7% of GDP. Now, another thing is respecting sanctity of contracts. This is important because even for business, and minsan you already, wala pa mag-kontrata, you agree already, like conservative terms. Now, what if you already agree, it's in writing, pirmahan na, ginagawa mo na, next president binago. Why will I invest tens of billions of pesos if you can keep changing the terms of the contract? I mean, that's what the businessmen are saying. Look what happened to Manila Water, to the toll roads of Petro Pacific, right? So this simple common sense thing can do a lot for business and attract a lot of investments. Now, less red tape. Yung mga students, hindi pa man natin pumipila for driver's license or passports or business permits. But can you imagine the hassle just to get a business permit? So they're going to lessen it. They're going to make it more streamlined and hopefully you don't have to bribe any more people. Okay, implementation of the REIT law. Okay, basically in 2010 there was this law, Real Estate Investment Trust, where you can spin off your malls and offices into another company that will pay 90% of the income as dividends. So this got mothballed for a number of reasons. One of which is the transfer tax. So it looks like they're going to find a way so this can be implemented. So some stocks will do well if the REIT law gets implemented. Those with high earnings. Students, do you know the 10-point agenda of your new president? No? Tatawanan na dito. The ones here are laughing. Anyway, you should kind of know this because this is his plan for our country. But I'm sure the parents and the older people here know it already. I'm not gonna go through this one by one, but let's take a look at the important ones, like number 2. Lower income tax. Okay, there's a proposal to bring it to 25% and higher excise tax on fuel. So, you know, I mean, this is a good thing. At least the lower income tax will be a big boon for consumption. But you know, the government needs revenue, so it's going to raise excise tax on fuel, which hindi na nadadaya yan. It's just an add-on to your fuel. You already know all this. Okay, well, now, okay, this is the making money part. Okay, so first is you don't buy bonds with negative yield. Now, second is let's go to stocks. What sectors will benefit from a deterrent risk? Now, you know it's going to increase infrastructure spending. So you look at the conglomerate sector. Okay, those conglomerates are students, do you know what a conglomerate is? Okay, conglomerates are companies with many businesses. Like for example, Universal Robina makes junk food. Cebu Pacific is an airline. Robinson's Land is a property company, for example. So those are separate businesses. They are all owned by John Gokongwei Samyang. That is the conglomerate. Okay? So I'm adding their vocabulary. I don't know how to say conglomerate in English. But there, that's what the conglomerate is. Now, because you know it's going to increase infrastructure spending, you want to buy those companies who have a lot of exposure to infrastructure, such as say MTI, Ayala Corporation, or you can go for a straight infra play like Megawide. Property companies also. Now, one observation Sonny Dominguez made about PPP was that a lot of PPP projects are in Metro Manila. Okay? And people are wondering, bakit traffic ang Metro Manila? If you're putting all the projects there, malaman, then you're gonna clog the arteries at some point. So you need to spread it out to Visayas, to Mindanao. So those companies which have exposure in Visayas or land in Mindanao, I mean, they should do well. Now, you also know there's going to be a REIT law that will be passed at some point. So companies, property companies with very high recurring income should also do well. They're already doing well, actually. Now, to finance these very large projects, you need to borrow a lot of money. Okay, that's why banks will do well and loan growth will increase. And finally, if the income tax is lowered, consumer companies should do well, as people will now have more spending power. So, normally when I give this presentation, someone will ask, but the stocks went down a lot last year. How will I know that it won't go down when I buy? How will I know? I don't have a crystal ball. But, you know, you should have, boss will discuss that later. But just to give you some context, this is the chart of the Philippine stock market over the past 1.5 years. Okay? It hit a high of 8137 about April last year. And by end of January this year, it had fallen as low as 6,000. Yet 2 weeks ago, it's back at 8,000. Okay, so yeah, stocks go up and down. Sometimes they go down a lot. But they can also go up a lot, as you can see here. It's a matter of holding on. Okay, like, if you believe in the Philippines, if you believe in its fundamentals, these pullbacks are opportunities. Okay? Just make sure you stick to something with a good growth story and a good business model. Now, I normally have one entire presentation about this, but I won't bore you na. Baka 5 p.m. na tayo magkukwawad ng mas dyan. Okay, but these were the reasons stocks fell. Okay, this is a bit hard to explain to the students, but when I explain how stocks fall and how they eventually go up, I like to do it in the context of what caused it to fall in the first place. Okay, I won't go through China. Mahirap i-criticize China. I'm like in a different country here. But so let's do oil prices now. Okay, so we have an article that comes out in the Philippine Star every Monday. It's called Phil Equity Corner. We write Mr. C's ideas of investments are all there. So the more detailed explanations on this are in our article. You just go search for it. But one reason we fell a lot was because oil prices fell. And if you see, this more or less mirrors the chart of the stock market you saw earlier. But you saw when oil started moving up, so did stocks. Okay, there's a very long explanation why that is. But what's important is oil stays in the $40 to $50 per barrel. Okay. If oil breaks 40, baka magkatakutan yan. That's something we have to be wary of. It's currently doing 41, so let's just be a little careful there. But it's stabilizing. I mean, for us, low oil prices, low gasoline prices, okay. But you have to also ask yourself, if oil falls too low, what happens to those companies that produce oil? They can go bankrupt. How about the countries producing oil? They can go bankrupt too. You do not like entire countries going bankrupt. So that scares the market. So oil staying at 40 to 50, that's okay. Not too low, not too high. Now, strong dollar interest rates. Yung students, i-google nila lang ito. Okay? Lalo ito, i-google nila. Okay, the point I want to make here is you see that in the US, interest rates are still at 0.5%. In Europe, it's practically zero. In Japan, they're always the weird ones. Interest rates are negative 0.1%. So the point here is that central banks around the world are keeping interest rates low. They're allowing people to borrow cheaper, to manufacture more, to build more, so more people can be hired, so more people can be paid. So people can now spend more. So they're trying to restart that cycle by, pumping money into the economy. So this is what it's for in a nutshell. So let's go to the heavy foreign selling of it. In our stock market, 50% of all transactions come from foreign funds. It can be from Japan, Europe, United States, or say Singapore. So it will be very hard for the Philippines to go up if the foreign funds are selling for like half our volume. So this is not as clear because of the light, but you'll see the dark, this is the monthly net foreign inflow and outflow into the Philippines. The dark part which you can't read, that's net foreign selling. In other words, from May 2015 until February 2016, foreign funds were dumping Philippine stocks. For example, in one particularly scary time, August and September last year, 2 months, 52 billion worth of Philippine stocks were sold. 52 billion. That's a staggering amount. Okay? With that money, you could elect 10 Philippine presidents. or more. But they started buying. You see, May, June, July. After Duterte got elected, they started buying. Do they like his promise to kill a lot of drug pushers? Do they like his pro-business stance? You know, it was funny because before Duterte was elected, a lot of people didn't like him. They wrote in their columns that before, when we elect our leaders, we want them to keep their promises, but they don't. In Duterte's case, we're hoping he doesn't keep his promises. The thing with Duterte is he does. So you have that daily kill count, right? We're nearly at 600 already. But foreigners like him and they like his economic team. So the foreign selling reversed, it turned into foreign buying. That's why the Philippine stock market went up. They like what Sonny Dominguez is saying. They like Duterte's common sense governance and his decisiveness. Okay, maybe fault him for his wearing baong and barong that's folding the sleeves. But he's a good man and so far he's doing the right thing. Now, how he implements it is another question, but the direction he's taking along with his economic team is mostly in the right direction. But, as I told you, people were scared. That's why before elections, the stock market fell. The Philippine peso hit 48 because they were afraid of him. I suppose if you sell drugs and all, you will be afraid. And he says many crazy things. Like, namura pa nga niya si Pope. But he said sorry. In fairness, he said sorry. So, his speeches, madaming mura. But if you look now, he said, I'm going to transform like a butterfly. In his words, maging holy ako. That's what he said. And do you hear him cursing in his speeches? Naka-ad-lib pa rin. And he's a bit on the left side. But he's not doing that anymore. So his promise of change is not just what he'll do for the country. He changed himself also. Although, I mean, he tried, he did his best. But for foreign funds, whose interest is in the economy and the stock market, big credit goes to Sonny Dominguez for his program and for communicating it properly and for consulting them before forming. Now, who here likes Kim Henares? Dinagdag ko na lang yung bullet na yan kasi I think, remember what si Dulay did, di ba? Pagkaupo niya, he suspended, nakangiti kayo no? I discuss. But he suspended a lot of controversial memorandums of Kim Henares. Are you happy?
Yes.
Siguro if Duterte said si Kim Henares, BIR yung petition na yung pupoto. Okay, now, the result, people were scared. Turns out, no, Duterte is more good than bad. Philippine stock market goes up 15% since elections. We wrote about this in Phil Equity Corner. We came up with an earlier article called Groundswell First to explain his popularity. Then when it spilled over the stock market, we wrote an article that came out May 20. We said it's now from the groundswell, the peak of the electorate, it now became a groundswell in the stock market. Okay, so yeah, this is what you buy, diba? Kontento naman tayo. When do we buy? Tatanungin niyo naman ako, like, tomorrow ba aakyat na? It's hard to predict, diba? I mean, assuming I knew, or assuming boss knew, chances are you wouldn't tell us, right? No, but it's really hard to say because anything can happen. Like, what if bigla tomorrow, like Sunday Duterte says, I will cut income tax to like 25%. Or what if suddenly si Kim Henares na magagalit na kayo, di ba? So anything can happen. What you can look at is the long-term horizon. Okay? Boss will discuss more of that later. But dapat, when you make an investment, it's long-term. For the students, when you have relationship, it should be long-term, okay? Short-term relationships are bad. That's my tip. Huwag kayo mag-Tinder, masamahan. Tumawa kayo, alam niyo yun. I-Tinder kayo, papataan niyo pa. You shouldn't do that. Dapat may age lock yun, ha? Kung kayo sa magulang. The first seriously, Tinder's not good, ha? Don't do it. Now, when do we buy? Yan. Kasi inaantok na yung kailangan ko isingin. So, when do we buy? Okay, who here believes in ghost month? Who here believes in ghost month? Ang onti, I had an audience one time, 80% believed in ghost month. August ako nag-present. Who, you believe in this? Yes? So kung August and July 30, so next week, in the next few weeks, di na kayo bibili. So September na kami babalik. Students, do you know what ghost month is? Yes? Do you believe in it? Yes? No? Okay? So we did a study. This is in the book Opportunity of a Lifetime. It's a lot of Mr. Z's investment ideas and all that. So this is what we did. We wanted to check if ghost month is real. Okay, or is it just random or a tradition? Baka-bara-bara lang yan. Diba? But what we saw, August and September are really weak. And this is over 25 years how we took the monthly return of the Philippine stock market per month for the past 25 years. And what did we discover? August and September, on average, are crappy months. August on average is down 3.7, September is down 1.9. Pero some of you here are very stickler for tradition. Lunar calendar ang ghost month, hindi mong Gregorian calendar, right? Right? Meron din kami lunar calendar. Okay, so, ghost month on that 7th lunar month, right? And what did we discover? It's approximately the same. On average, over the past 25 years, it's down 3%. So, you know why ghost month is true? Because all of you believe it, eh. Now, if all of you didn't believe it, hindi pa bababayan. Anyway, now, but this is the opportunity, okay? You like buying things cheap, right? So, if you know everyone will be selling in ghost month, that's the opportunity. Because you know prices will be lower there. Like some of my clients call, oh, what should I sell because it's ghost month? We should sell based on fundamentals, not because it's ghost month. Right? But this opportunity, because some people trade on superstition or feng shui, so you can use that. Because you see, as you see here, November, December, January are very strong months. Okay? This October to January, on average, you make about 10% in just those months. On average. And this is data from the past 25 years. So if you're asking when to buy, A, if you can listen to this. B, you can also buy the book. There's a longer explanation. Now, this is the chart of the Philippine stock market going back to 2008. Why did I choose 2008? This is the chart of our entire bull market. Students, do you know what a bull market is? There, no red. Okay. Okay. A bull market is a time when stock prices keep going up, and a bear market is a time when stock prices keep going down. You do not want to be invested in the bear market. You want to be all in during a bull market. So, let's think of an analogy. When you have a relationship, tas away kayo ng away, bear market yun. When everything is all roses and hearts, that's a bull market. Dalawa audience ko eh. Now, okay. What is this thing I put an arrow here? That is the bottom of the 2007-2008 bear market when we had the subprime mortgage crisis in the US. That's damay-damay lahat. We wrote an article then, 666 or 369. That means the S&P 500 US stock index bottomed at the 666 level on March 6, 2009. And we wrote an article on April 13, 2009. Mr. C wrote 2 articles about it to tell people the stock market has bottomed and it's time to buy. You can check this on our archive because this is not hindsight. That's what's important. We're not saying we said this and you have no way to verify. All our articles are online. In the Philippine Star, in our own archive, in the newspapers. You can check what we said. And this is really what we said. And this is the result. Okay? The bull market you have now. Now, some of you won't get to come to these regularly. I'm lucky because I get to go to boss's room every few minutes, every day. That's why I can do what I do now and I can say what I'm telling you. It's because I learned from the best, Wilson C. Can we give him a big round of applause? When I first met Wilson C, nagtatrain na ako, di ba? Galing-galing ko. So definitely, hire ako ng Wilson C. Well, he hired me, but I realized hindi pala ako magaling. Like in my first year with Wilson C, I was already 10 times better. He taught me a lot. After my first year, he told me, Miguel, your technical analysis is haphazard. So by year 2, I'm 10 times better again. So he keeps teaching. Until now, I still learn from Mr. C. So it's everything, stocks, currencies, different asset classes. He likes music. Oh, I barely know anything about music, so tinuturuan niya rin ako. Madami, he teaches me a lot of things. Mostly stocks and some music and basketball. Okay. Now, what you see in these columns are his ideas and investment strategy, not just for clients, but for the public. So you can learn. And these are, as I said, on record. So walang sabi-sabi namin gawin. You see it on record. So these are just examples of articles we wrote. So this is Opportunity of a Generation we wrote in November 2008. Stocks have fallen so much that it now opens up an opportunity of a generation to make money, such that 2009 will be a year of opportunity. Then we finally found the bottom on March 6, 2009. You can even see it online. Now, Mr. C was inspired a lot by this experience because indeed 2009 until now was an opportunity of a lifetime if you were able to buy stocks then. Which is why he wrote this book. Okay? It's all the investment secrets behind the success of the Phil Equity Fund, which is 99% Wilson C. So, this is the book he wrote. Like the seasonality I told you about Grossman, it's in that. Okay? Now, this is the chart I showed you earlier, right? You'll see, after going up a lot, the stock market went from about a little below 2,000, close to 5,000 already. We wrote, the stock market had more than doubled from the bottom. But you should stay the course because it will go up. Now you know the stock market's at 8,000 already. So it doubled from the time you wrote that. But then it fell a lot in July 2013. You had QE tapering, then you had Yolanda towards the end of 2013. That's a double-digit drop in the stock market. Here. Yolanda's over here. Okay. Then you had this drop here. Then we wrote an article. You can check it. We wrote it in February, the bounce. We said stocks would go up again, and this is part of a recovery. Now you see, dali lang pala, I just buy. Tapos okay na ako. Past 7 years. Di ba people are scared? Stock prices will go down. This is what I removed from that. These are the percentage drops that occurred at different times. This is what people are scared of. 15% drop, 19% drop, 23%. Yolanda's over there, 14%. And the recent one, the stock market reached 1/4 of its value. But if I take that out, you still made a lot of money, right? But these things will scare you. These corrections. But they're part and parcel of a bull market. So don't be scared of this. The same thing when you have relationships. Minsan, nag-aaway kayo, you fight. But it doesn't mean your relationship is over or the marriage is not worth it. If the fundamentals are intact, the uptrend will continue. Such that these corrections, these drops in the market are actually opportunities to buy. Some people are saying, okay, it's just the past 7 years. There are years when you can get utterly wiped out. Okay, so, what I'll show you is the chart of the Philippine stock market since 1987. You had the 1989 Mount Pinatubo Rapids, you had the Baguio earthquake, you had the 1997 financial crisis, you had the Iraq war over here, then yung impeachment ni era, again sa two. Phil Equity called the bottom here, and also here. You had the 2007 financial crisis, you had Yolanda. But what do you notice? Despite all these crises, over the long term, stocks still move higher. Jollibee was there, right? In the 90s, still there now. Yalalan, yung malls and SM, dumami palalo, right? Despite all this. So, if you have a diversified portfolio, which you can either do yourself or from mutual funds, notwithstanding bear markets, stocks will outperform all asset classes, and over time, you will make money. Now, I told you Phil Equity wrote a lot of articles. We have Mr. C behind Phil Equity. This is the performance of Phil Equity over time. In the second column, that's Phil Equity's annual return. In the third column, that's the Philippine stock market. So you'll see, for example, in 1997, down 40% in stock market. Phil Equity was down 5. Next year, up 13 na siya. The Philippines was up 5 only. Okay, here, let's take the bear market. We lost money also. 40% down 1 year. Okay, the Philippines lost 48. Or by next year, bawi na. About a year, Mr. C was able to make it. That's why our clients love Mr. C and like Auntie Margie. He really works hard to make money for his clients. So this is over 22 years. We can outperform every year. There will be about 5 years here that we don't outperform. But on balance, we protect our clients' money and we make money for them. Such that, this is the result. In yellow is the Phil Equity Fund, in red is the Philippine stock market. What this tells you is if you invested in the Philippine stock market in 1994, 1 peso, your 1 peso would be close to 3 pesos by now. If you invested in Phil Equity instead, your 1 peso would be worth 38 pesos. The Philippine stock market made 4.7% per year on average over that time. Phil Equity made 17.6%. This is after fees already. This is net to the investor. So, students, malapit na matapos, give me 3 minutes. Now, cash is searching for yield. We have extra money. Where do we put it? Bond yields are too low. Stocks may be expensive. Jollibee before, magkano lang yan? 9, 12 pesos. It's now 250. But if bonds are providing close to zero or sometimes even negative, you'd rather go with the business that continues to earn money, that has a dividend yield. Now, you need central banks to continue to do what they're doing because they're the ones that underpin this bull market. And as long as they keep interest rates low, stocks will continue to go. Now, the wonderful thing about the Philippines is we're both a safe haven and a growth story. Normally, a country is either safe, like a Japan, or a growth story like, say, an Indonesia. But the Philippines is both. We're both safe and growing. We're growing about 6%. And as Mr. C said, you own businesses. You look at stocks the same way. You can look at the Philippines the same way. It has good fundamentals and many catalysts for growth. So you can expect stocks to move higher as well. Now, however, Philippine stocks have gotten quite expensive. Okay? Sobrang na yung akyat. So over the short term, you might have a correction. And because you all believe in ghost money, you have 90% chance of makulog yan. all of you are going to be selling. However, this rally is underpinned by the foreigners who continue to buy and the pronouncement of Duterte's economic team. So, even though we see a correction in the short term, over the long term, we still see stocks moving higher. So if there are pullbacks, you can use that as an opportunity to buy. Last question, how high? Baka naman 3% ang pitay, 5%. So we did this table. I don't think this is in the book yet. Baka pag nag-second edition is it was. This is the return of the Philippine stock market across the different presidential terms. And what will you see here? Now, let's take out Cory because we came from a really bad time here, and then Erap's time kasi he wasn't able to finish his term due to the political crisis there. But if you look at the three stable presidential terms, on average, the Philippine stock market doubles every presidential term. And we started at 7,000 when Duterte got elected. It's now at 8,000. So, if you're looking for yield, if you're looking for a place to put your money, look no further. Invest in the Philippines. Thank you very much. I'll turn you over to Wilson C. for the closing.
I think I'll address this to the students. Go down to you. And maybe the principal, the school, I think we're in Chiang Kai-shek, the school here. Maybe we should consider, how old are you, most of you, or what age? 16. Okay. When I came, when my son studied actually in the US, no? And one main difference between students there, because they were asked also, first year in college, no? And they were asked how many of them are invested in stocks, no? And how many do, and more than half actually are aware of the stock market and are investing in stocks. So this is one thing that probably should be considered, that in the curriculum, that in the Philippine curriculum, that at the young age of 10, 11, 12, maybe they already should know something about investments, because it's quite, I think it's very important, and it's what's lacking in our curriculum. But anyway, going back to our topic, what do you do? I mean, we're here, we're talking about stocks, we're talking about equities and different kind of investments. But what is important is study, look at yourself, and decide for your own. The return that you get is actually a big part, maybe probably 90, 100% of what you will earn is actually dependent on asset allocation. What do we mean by asset allocation? Okay. Students, do you understand what asset allocation is? Yes? Well, it's different asset classes. I mean, we presented to you different asset classes when I started. And what the overall return will be very much dependent on how much you put in each asset class. Okay. Now, so these are the different, cash, time deposit, we go back, time deposit, other currencies, bonds, jewelry, gold, paintings, and stocks, mutual funds. Okay. But then, one thing that is more important here, and you have to assess yourself, think about it. What is your risk tolerance? Okay, what do we mean by risk tolerance? Are you willing to, are you a person that will be nervous putting money? If you get nervous, if you start losing money, you get nervous already, you're uneasy, then you have to put, maybe you should, stock market is not for you. because you're nervous when you're losing money. Okay? But on the other hand, if you don't have anything in stocks or in mutual funds, you're actually losing money. That's actually what you should consider. Because it's, if as we said, the topic here is in the new normal. The new normal now is actually zero interest rates or actually negligible interest rates. So you have to ask yourself, you have to make your own examination of yourself. How much risk do I want to put in? I mean, I think even the school here, the trustees, probably I'm addressing you to trustees, you have to think, no? Even Xavier, where I came from, they started out before. Everything, the mindset was everything in time deposit, everything in fixed income, because we don't want any risk. But we've been now to Ateneo, to LaSalle, the Banco Central. Most of the schools are actually thinking they have to have part of their money in stocks. Not only in Philippine stocks, but actually US stocks, Japanese stocks. This is a mindset that I think students here you should learn. You cannot put all your money in time deposit, you cannot put all your money in cash or in games or whatever, in books. You have to assess yourself. Maybe if you don't have anything in stocks, you don't have anything in the stock market, maybe you start out with 5%. Maybe part 10% of your portfolio or 2%. At the very least, you have something there. So it's very important you review your asset allocation. What is it that I can risk? What is it that let's say I have 100,000 pesos. Maybe I can afford losing 5,000 pesos, right? I can afford 10,000. So this is money that you can afford, just let it stay there. The other thing is, determine your time horizon. Okay? If you need the money tomorrow, then you shouldn't invest it. If you need the money, or may utang ka pa kailang pambayad, then don't invest. You don't have money to invest in the first place. Right? But if you, let's say, have savings of, even the caregiver of my mother, our driver, even Washington C-SIP's maids, drivers, and actually they have put their money slowly in my mom's caregivers going back to the province getting married. She's 26 years old, started investing slowly, savings niya. I think she's going home about 250,000, just probably 1,000 a month. Okay. So, but then, this is it, no? This is the time horizon. You have to assess your time horizon. How much money you're putting in. This is money that you can afford to keep. This is something that you can, you stay there, you don't need it for 5 years or 10 years. Then it's money that if you need it in a week or next year, then, probably you should think of other investments. Then the last thing, is diversification. Of course, you like Jollibee, you like Chicken Joy, you like Burger Steak, or you like going to Shoe Mart, or you're going to, Metro Gaisano is also listed, but something might happen, no? Something, an accountant there, or something, we call it black swans, that things that you don't think will happen, happens. So you want to diversify into different companies, no? Rather, because as they say, they don't put your eggs in one basket, no? So you'd like to diversify. So this is part of our topic, and we're here to answer all your questions. I hope the students, if you want to have some questions, we're really here to answer. And thank you very much for inviting us here.
So this ends the presentation and speech of our valuable, our very distinguished guest from Field Equity, especially Mr. Wilson C. Before we go to the open forum, the Chiang Kai-shek Alumni Association would like to present a certificate of appreciation to our guest speakers. The wording here is, this certificate of appreciation is hereby presented to Field Equity Management Incorporated in recognition of its variable contribution and insights on making money in the new normal seminar held on the 30th day of July 2016 at Chiang Kai-shek College of Auditorium, CKSC, Manila. Given this 30th day of July 2016 at Chiang Kai-shek College Auditorium, CKSC, Manila, and signed by our President, Mrs. Macarita Go. So may we ask our President and our Vice President to present this flag of appreciation to Mr. Wilson C. and Mr. Miguel Acarao. Invite our Principal, Mrs. Tori Poa, to be on stage. Please stay on board. We are very also honored and happy that our distinguished guest is going to give us some of his book opportunity of a lifetime. You know, for the students, learning is never too old.
Your question is the valuation. For the students here, I think this is the question is being asked by somebody who is already invested and knows a lot of about the stock market. Okay? Now, talking about valuation, they're saying against peers. You understand what peers are? The peers are our neighbors, the other countries. Students, can I get your attention? Do you want to understand what valuation means? Valuation means it's hard to explain, but that means that our prices are higher in terms of price-earning ratio, in terms of book value. These are metrics, valuation metrics that we use. Okay? So that's why they're saying parang mahal na ang Pilipinas compared to other countries. It's just saying that you buy a Lexus versus probably a Toyota or a Honda, mas mahal. Why? Because there is more certainty in our growth. Our country will probably, like for example, you go to Europe, they're not growing. Actually, we have the highest, there are thing that to understand is GDP, gross domestic product. This is, well, this I think beyond you, this economics, no? But that means that our country is growing much higher than other countries. And it depends also on the stock components. No? The stock components, like for example, you have SM, you have Jollibee, whose multiple is at about 30 times. And compared to, let's say, energy stock, listed like PTT, listed in Thailand, is about 10 times. That's why our valuation is higher. The other part of the question is the correction. Okay, correction is the hardest to predict. I myself would always admit that I don't know how deep corrections will be, how large, because this short term, I don't know what's, like for example, nobody expected Yolanda to happen. Just came out of the blue and caused, or maybe a Pinatubo, or, I hope not, no? But there's some things that, can suddenly happen and cause a big correction, or maybe a mild correction. As we've seen in the table, and it's also in the book, to show you that August, or the Chinese Ghost Month, the lunar calendar, starts, the Chinese calendar, the Ghost Month starts on August 3 actually. If you're going to read our column on Monday, go to Philippine Star, business page, business section. I hope if you want to learn maybe once a week, go through it, read it. Whatever you don't understand, you can email us or ask your teachers or ask somebody more who would understand. Will tell you that actually August or Nanang, 7th month of the lunar calendar, is normally a month that the market goes down. So, and by average, you've seen it's about 3%. So, we think that the correction will happen if ever it happens August, September. And normally the strong months, these are seasons in the market, and it's also in the book, that the best months are actually November, December, January. So, and the peak is actually January. So, probably a correction, 3, 5%. It's hard to tell. I don't know. What we know is that over the long term, companies will grow. A company will like a Shoemart, where Jollibee will grow 10%, 15%. Some will grow higher. So you look at the valuation. That's why I hire 6 research staff, not doing anything but studying companies every day. So that's our job, and that's how we invest. Thank you.
Sir, just a follow-up question. What do you think will be the movement of the market? Will be in a sideways, or are we sustaining the 8,000 index?
8,000. Right now, the index is 8,000. Actually, this is a milestone. This is the all-time high. We're back at the all-time high. In fact, we gave away shirts when it reached 8,000. And what we're seeing now is holding on to 8,000 because foreign buying just keeps coming in. Since the election, we had an amount, it's almost close to 45 billion pesos, almost $1 billion that came into the Philippines. It's we're witnessing almost $1 billion pesos every day in foreign money going into the Philippine stock market. And I wouldn't know whether this will continue or it will reverse. It's not only going to the Philippines, it's also going to Thailand, it's going to Indonesia. That's why Indonesia and Thailand is also about close to 15% up for the year. So, you asked me if I knew I'd be the richest person in the world, but what I know is the companies will grow. It will probably go down. Maybe it's 8, maybe if ever, if you want to, probably 7.5. The index, if you watch the index, 7.5, 7.4 probably would be a good level. I don't know whether it's going to reach there.
With our market's premium valuation and this lower for longer rate environment, is it still advisable to enter the equity market today? If so, what manner of investing would you suggest?
Well, I think we've written about it several times. Well, you want to invest, if you don't have any investment, you start today. You invest right away but you don't put all your money today in the market today. Because, you know, what we do is average, as I mentioned earlier, is you try to put in what we call peso cost averaging or dollar cost averaging, wherein you put in 5,000 a month, 5,000 every 2 weeks, or 1,000, depends on what, because we don't really know. All we know is that you invest in the market slowly and you probably make money. You don't put in, you're trying to time the market is the hardest thing to do. If I myself, that's my profession, that's our profession, and trying the market normally is wrong. Most of the analysts, most of the research houses, even the best research houses, Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, all were wrong. But saying that they're trying to say that the market is going to drop to 5,000, 5,600. Although, if you went to our investors briefing last January, that was a doomsday scenario. Everybody, you're all invited if you want to listen to. We have our investors briefing. This is normally for our clients, but if you register with Philequity, we can accommodate you. It's a Meralco Theater, it's a 1,000. We normally have about 700 to 800 investors that come in during our meetings. If you just want to register, or if you're a client already, you can go there and we'll give you a briefing on how we look at the stock market. But going back to the question, it's really investing on a regular basis that beats the market. Not timing it is very, very difficult.
Thank you. I think we have a question from that side.
Okay, the question is hard landing. When an economy falters, sometimes it meanders. That maybe, for example, an economy is growing 5% or 6%, and then, like for example, China, which is growing before was 10% annual growth for the country, the economy. They're talking about the economy, GDP is 10%. People are afraid that all of a sudden their economy will falter and go down in a fast way and causes a hard landing, meaning to say from 10% GDP goes down to 7%, all of a sudden drops to 5% and 4%, which causes disruption. It causes a big disruption in the economy because, well, globally growth is slow. Their exports are not able to, and they're trying to change their economy, the composition of the economy from a export-led economy to a domestic consumption-led economy, which means that the economy will start to falter, and that's what we call a hard landing.
I know the number of stock investors, they tend to evaluate the value of the stock by calculating the PE ratio. What is a PE ratio and what has that to do with?
The question is, what is a PE ratio? Students, listen here. Okay, PE. What is PE? P is price. Okay, you know that? Okay, answer. Physical education now, PE. PE, physical education. I think that's a good answer. Philequity now, PE. Price equity, okay, price equity, nabali pa rin. Price equilibrium. Huh? You know, I think we have to come here more often. I didn't envision myself to be a teacher. Okay. Yeah, you have an answer? Okay. price equity, equilibrium, no, actually it's price, market price, stock price and earnings, okay? So it's a basic, very basic accounting ratio or financial ratio to see whether the price of a stock is high or not, okay? So if your stock price, for example, is like Jollibee is about 255 and their earnings per share, okay? So price, stock price, don't have a blackboard here, but over earnings per share, which is probably, let's say, it's assuming that's 25 pesos earning per share, that makes it 250 divided by 25 is 10 times PE. Okay, so that's what you call PE. Okay, the higher it is, the more expensive, supposedly. That's why they're saying Philippines is expensive, like Jollibee is expensive, because it's about more than 30 times price-earnings ratio. Okay, but you don't stop there. Just because the price-earnings ratio, there's can be 5 times, but it's actually going to be bankrupt or it's not going to grow. Okay, but if a company is going to grow, let's say, 30% or 20% or 40% a year, like for example, Cebu Pacific, price-earnings ratio is quite high, or 9 times, but their growth is high, growing at 30-40% a year, then it's cheap. So we call that the PEG ratio, price over earnings growth, PE over earnings growth. I hope I understand. Well, it's actually it's going to be a long-winded topic. I hope I answered you.
Normally, stock markets have bull market of 4 to 5 years, and we have a bear market. We are now coming from 2009, it's already 7 years. Do we consider that extended bull run, or should we be expecting a major correction in the coming years?
Actually, this is one, again, I wrote about it about a few weeks ago. We said that this is the unloved bull. I don't know if you read it. The love bull. We've had so many corrections in this stock market. We've had so many scares. The latest one is Brexit. Previous to that is China. The concern about the terrorist attacks. This has not. What we're witnessing is actually historic. We've never seen interest rates so low. That's why there's a big concern of what's going to happen when the Fed means the Federal Reserve of the United States, that they will increase interest rates. So I mentioned in the book we said stay the course. We stay the course as long the economy grows, like the Philippines, which is growing. The projected growth of the new administration is 7 to 8% GDP growth. Okay, if that would translate to more earnings for the company, that would make your still grow. So I don't really look at corrections. I believe in companies that whose business model is one thing that I like, that will continue to grow. The US, I think, is turning. This will continue to grow. You'll see probably correction. We just had a big correction. It was in January when we were at the Meralco Theater. We were there. People were so scared. Somebody came up the stage. Somebody asked a question. You know what the question was? She said, I cannot sleep at night anymore. I cannot stand it. I invested at 7,000 index, and it's now at 5,007 or 5,800. And she said, I cannot sleep. Should I sell or not? And I said, this is what I said. If you cannot sleep at night because of your investments, then get out. Get out to a level where you can sleep soundly. The sleep sound level, that's where you put your investments. But if you're saying that you're getting you're gonna get sick, get out. No, you're not right. You're not at the right psychological level to be invested. Okay, but like me, in my case, I don't mind being 100% invested. I can sleep soundly because that's my psyche. That's my psyche. That's how I am. But other people will probably, because I know that stocks, I treat it like a company. It's a company that, so to answer the question, if the country, you think about it also like a company. The country will probably be growing. Why will it grow? Because of our remittances, although it's actually getting, probably the growth is getting smaller, but our BPO industry is still higher, going higher. It's really, then you have a lot of potential for tourism, and our demographics, the demographics meaning the age and our population still at the age which is productive. Unlike the problem with Japan, is they're all old. We have a young population. If you're all young, there's going to be, so hopefully, you will all be productive and contribute to the economy. So that's how I treat the country, how I live. So you trade in countries, you think about it as a company also that will grow. I hope I answered your question.
We have a question here from our students. Would it be beneficial if we become a trader or an investor?
We have, Miguel here is in charge of our training program. We normally have trainees that come to our office. Of course, we screen them. We cannot accommodate all of you. We normally reserve it for some, probably 10 to 20 at most, which we train. But I think some of you were, that's why we gave some of our books to the school. Hopefully you'll have time. It's gonna be in the library, right? So it's gonna be in the library. You can borrow it. You don't have to buy. If you want your own, then you can buy it here. I think we brought some here, or you can buy it in our own office. But investor education, I said, is very, very important. You have to educate yourself. Now, whether you want to be a trader, I would always encourage you to learn about investing, because, as I said, it's a very important, that if ever I want to contribute to my children and to all of you, is, education and investor education is very important, and I think it's lacking in the curriculum. I think even from high school, they should actually be learning about it already. I mean, we're actually far behind compared to other countries.
Next question, does investing in a blue chip company guarantee us a return of investment?
Depends on how you turn blue chip, because a blue chip is becoming not so blue anymore in the future. I mean, there are some companies that's considered blue, like before Atlas was considered a blue chip, Felix was considered a blue chip. Look at where they are now. So depends on look at the business model. Is the business model going to continue? Technology may change. PLDT is a blue chip. I'm not saying that they're gonna go down. Things are gonna change, but technology can disruptive technology can suddenly change. But for example, even in the U.S., okay, I don't know if you go to the Macy's, Nordstrom, you go there, you go to the department store. But things are changing because the young students now, would rather buy through Amazon. So this maybe the Macy in the future will no longer be a blue chip, because they're going to go down. So these things can change. But right now, we feel that people still, in our case here, would still rather go to a mall, the lifestyle, or the lifestyle that they go in, they still want to go to a mall, because I think the lifestyle that people like to go, hang out there, eat, and spend time there. So it really depends on each company. That's why we, again, read, study, and, learn.
We have a question from the,
Hi, so like any other student, may savings naman po kasi kami sa bangko. Eh, di ba nung sinabi nyo, pag iniwan mo lang sa bangko, malulugi ka. Eh, pag nag-invest naman, medyo ayokong, kasi nakakatakot mag-invest, dahil kapag hindi mo mababantayan, kailangan mag-aral and madaming gagawin. So, feel ko hindi ko po mababantayan. So, ano pong pwede namin gawin, imbis na iwan ko lang sa bangko, pero ayaw ko mag-invest in yung ganun ka, yung risky na investment.
Okay, ayaw nyo malugi. There's no such thing as walang lugi. But, if you don't have time to, because I don't suggest you buy one company. So, again, that's why even for most of I discuss about asset allocation. May pera ka, yung iba nasa cash, yung iba nasa time deposit. You put some na lang, part of your money into, instead of stocks, a diversified portfolio, meaning maraming stocks. Instead of just buying one stock, you go into a fund, that's a mutual fund. A mutual fund will have 30 stocks or 50 stocks so that naka-diversify ka na. So instead of buying, kunyari may 5,000 capital, as small as 5,000, you can invest your 5,000 pesos in a mutual fund. And the mutual fund will manage it for you. Okay? So you don't have to pay attention to it. And then that 5,000 na yun, that may mutual fund ka, that mutual fund already will own probably 30 or 50 stocks. So instead of lahat ng meron ng blue chips, meron ka na may Jollibee ka, may Ayala, meron kang SM, meron kang PLDT, meron kang Globe. Lahat na ng investments nandun kasama na. So you don't even have to watch for it. That's the job of the fund manager. That's my job. I'm a fund manager. I hope I answered you.
Meron pang
Yes, please.
Nung pumunta po ako sa Security Bank, mag-invest sana ako dun sa money market. Tapos sabi nila, safe naman daw po yung investment na yun kasi hindi daw gagalaw yung capital mo. Hindi daw po siya bababa. Tapos, pero medyo low lang yung return rate, parang 1.8% per kung ano lang. So, advisable po ba na yun yung gawin ko if ayokong itambak lang somewhere yung pera?
Again, if you came earlier, we explained that yung 1.8% mo, because yung next year, pag ang inflation is about 2%, 3%, so may 100,000 ka, iinta mo 1,800, pero wala ka ng ibang other income. Next year, yung 1,800 mo, not enough kasi yung inflation, yung presyo ng, kunyari, ng hamburger na kakainin mo, instead of that, natin ginagastos mo 1,800 para kumain ng mga pagkain, yung chicken joy mo, ang cost na per year, magiging 2,500 na. So, lugi ka pa. That's why you need other sources of income. But that's safe. It's true. It's safe, a money market, unless there's something that goes wrong with the bank. But I think it's safe. Security Bank is one of the top performing banks. You're safe there. That's why we said asset allocation, diversify your asset allocation, put some of your money in money market, save some of your money in equities, or if you cannot manage your own, you buy a mutual fund, which is a source of a way of going into the stock market without managing the money yourself.
How do you calculate the PE ratio?
The PE ratio is, again, as I said, the price, stock market price. For example, let's put it the SM. SM is priced now, SM Prime is priced at 30 pesos. Okay, so the stock price mo is 30 pesos. Then your earnings, anong kinikita ng kumpanya? What's the net income of the company? So divided by the number of shares, you get earnings per share. So the PE, stock market price over earnings per share, comes out with the PE ratio.
Okay, we have another question from the audience. How will you know if the investment is not a scam? And if ever that you got scammed, how will you get back your money that has been scammed?
Well, first of all, you have to check, you just don't listen to your friends, no? I think that's where you, again, no? Where you do your homework, you look at the companies, whether they're legit. Don't just listen to rumors or to, ito, mag-invest ka rito, malapit sa'yo. Now, be aware, just be aware, sabihin, ito, return mo, 5% a month, magduda ka na kaagad, di ba? Guaranteed ka, kikita ka 10%. Gina-guarantee ka, sigurado to, kita to. Mag-ingat ka na, di ba? But, I don't think you have the resources to go to the SEC, but talk to some elders and any of your I hope the teachers here are equipped with advice. No? But you go to a bank, that's again, no? That's why one of my advocacy is actually investor education. No? And probably what we can just advise is we're here. You can always ask our people here. We have our own website. You can just read. That's why if I don't get paid writing in the Star every Monday, it's painstaking. It takes away my weekends with my family. My wife is already complaining, and my children that sometimes we have a Sunday lunch, and we're supposed to go there and try to finish the article for Monday because we want to educate. Investor education is very important.
Last two questions. How will the Trump presidency affect us?
It's a concern. If the U.S., well, for example, a Trump presidency may be advocating a closed economy. They would want everything America-centric, which will probably hamper free trade, and it's not going to be good if this is materialized. Maybe this is just all rhetoric, just talking about it to win votes. People are all scared of Duterte even before the elections also, because he was saying it's a campaign speeches, but it's a concern. I think there was, I would like to maybe before we talk here, people were asking about the peso. You wanted to discuss the peso? Yeah. The Philippine peso now is about, I think that's one thing that the students here not listening, pay attention. I think this is concerning you. The Philippine peso weakens. What will happen to your money? Is it good for you? Okay, because you'll probably be able to buy less, right? So this is one thing that you have to watch out. You see it every day. I think you watch the news. They tell you what the peso rate is, and the peso can, if it's not managed well, can go like during the last presidency, during Erap's time, the peso went to 56, and it could have gone higher probably. The joke was, at that time, was sabi ni Erap sa mga tao, tinan nyo, tinanggal nyo ako as presidente, in-impeach nyo ako. Kung hindi nyo ako tinanggal, sana yung peso, 100 pesos to 1 na. That would have been disastrous for, just like, go read on Venezuela. They can't buy their, even McDonald's have to close there because they don't have enough bread. They can, many companies they do not have, because the inflation is going haywire. Their currency is fixed, but there's a black market. You can even buy dollars. So this is something that you have to carefully watch for. We feel that the current administration would want more growth. But as we explained, again, this is going to be a long-winded discussion. It's the fiscal deficit, as as a percentage of GDP will be growing from 3% to 5% of GDP to about 7%, which means that this is something we watch out for, which may mean more weakness for the peso. So if this continues and by December or next year the US dollar starts increasing interest rates, the differential again, I don't know, I'm going to, this probably is going to be way above your head, but the differential between the peso yield interest rates against the US dollar is at historic lows, meaning the carry between the peso and the US dollar is too low. That means the peso will probably be weaker unless we raise interest rates also. So this is something that we have to watch out for.
Do we have one last question from the audience after that slide, sir?
Hi, good morning, Mr. C. So my question is, I believe there's still not a lot of alternative investment opportunities in the Philippines. For example, the derivatives market is still not that mature. So what are the ways that we can diversify our portfolio with stocks? You mentioned investing in blue chip companies, but what are the ways for us to not just ride the market, but to shield ourselves if the market goes down, that we still have a fully diversified stock portfolio? Like, which industries, which sectors do you recommend us investing in to diversify?
Again, that's why we said asset allocation first. No? Before asset allocation, so you already allocate a big portion your asset into different classes, right? So you don't have, so depending on your risk appetite, you don't put all your money in stocks, right? So you put some of it in money market, some of it in fixed income, in bonds, some of it in US dollars. Okay. Now, on diversification, we believe that, as we explained, conglomerates, meaning to say that conglomerates are all the holding company of all the different companies. You want some money into consumer-related companies, so you go into Pure Gold, you go to Jollibee, you go to SM Prime, then you allocate part of it into a defensive portfolio, meaning to say dividend paying. So Meralco will give you probably 4%, 5% dividend yield per year. So that already beats your interest rates in banks. Okay, so you diversify into power, so different sectors.
To close our question and answer, what tips or advice can you give our students in terms of savings and investments?
First of all, students, listen. I think you have a low attention span, so listen. This is the last question, okay. What do you do? First of all, you need to have money. You need to save, right? Wala ka na savings, wala ka na ma-invest. So, always, you get allowances. You learn how to maybe save some of it for the future. Okay? I think one lesson there is you don't spend more than what you earn, right? That's a basic, and which is actually very hard to do. But so learn how to save. Now, if you're able to save, okay, start. Well, you're supposed to study, right? But it's one of the things I learned is discipline. Studying in college, I went into management engineering in Ateneo. It's my course. And I think it's quite important, the discipline of studying. When I went to also Omaha, Warren Buffett was supposedly the richest person in the world, and his partner Charlie Munger had this one message to just students: keep on reading, read. Just the knowledge that you can learn from reading is enormous. Okay? In my case, as I was saying, we have a lot of math. I mean, Chuck Isaac is good in accounting, we're good in math. work on it, because the discipline on math is quite important. It's studying regularly, the discipline. But again, it's not enough. It's not enough that you just have math or just you widen your horizon, because the stock market is just not a science. It's not as if ito yung 1 + 1 = 2. You know, because it's an art. There's so many factors that will affect the stock market. You have to read about what? Political science, philosophy, sociology, literature, history, what happens in Greece affects us, what happens in Russia. So all these things put together, it's not as if, you know, out of the blue, because I just studied investment management, I'm gonna make money. No, it's not. So many factors affect how the prices move up and down. The globally, we're all interlinked. What happens in the US, what happens in China, what happens in Greece, what happens in Britain, affect us. So, that's the final advice? Just keep on reading, study, and be diligent. Thank you.
So I think the question and answer period is since time is approaching noon time, I hope you are not hungry. But even if your stomach is hungry, I'm pretty sure that your brain now, your mind now is full of investment. So I would like to thank Mr. Wilson C. and also his staff, Mr. Miguel Acalao, to give us very useful and very practical information about investment. And we do hope that in the future, he will also again join us to provide this valuable information to our future alumni and future students. Okay, before we close our program, our Alumni Association would like to invite also our guests, our students, our friends. We have another seminar September 3 on the succession in a nutshell. So now you learn how to make money. So imagine you have many money. So in the future you will think about how do you transfer your money to your next generation. So our alumni, we're pretty sure they need this information, and our young investors will start to worry now since you are going to make money. Okay? And for the students, please make sure you sign in our attendance sheet, because we were going to provide you a certificate of attendance. We hope that you will help in your future career. Okay. And for those who bought the book, or who is going to buy the book, after this, when we close this program, you can help also Mr. Wilson C. to autograph your book. So now we thank everybody for joining our seminar.